FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
The AP poll came out a couple weeks ago saying that 1/3 of white Democrats harbor negative feelings toward black people, and that 1/4 of those white Democrats may not vote for Barack Obama. Now, we have to ask, what is the justification for the resistance? All of the mythology that has been distorting him, whether he is a Muslim, what would be wrong if he were a Muslim? That should be no harm, but the reality is he ain't. He's a good old Christian on the south side of Chicago, and by now everybody knows his pastor. So some have raised the question whether he was Christian, but that's another conversation. I certainly would contend he is. But the reality is then that for many white brothers and sisters, then the resistance to Barack Obama can be justified by what? Appeals to conceptions that perhaps he lacks experience. That would be a legitimate concern, but not because as a black man who is the nominee of the party that they now are participating in, that they would justify either not voting for him, staying at home and refusing to vote for him, or not embracing him because for no other reason than that he is a black man. Now, for all of those who claim we live in a post-racial society, that may not be an ideal toward which we should aspire. Post-racist, yes. To get beyond the lethal indignities that are associated with ethnic bigotry, yes. To get beyond the ruin of race, yes, but not beyond racial identity, not to cleanse ourselves in the healing pools of whiteness. As Du Bois himself conjured that image in 1903 in the souls of black folk, no, we should not attempt to be post-racial, but post-racist. We should not have to give up who we are or what we look like or the identities that we have accrued over space and time, struggling for self-definition in a culture that refused to acknowledge our fundamental humanity. And now Barack Obama is walking a serious tightrope. On the one hand, trying to acknowledge that he is part of the great drama of American democracy and the pageantry of possibility. And on the other hand, people on either side calling him out for not being enough or too much of a good thing. And so the dream that people had in this country about reaching that racial nirvana, or reaching for that place where Dr. King said that race would no longer be the significant factor to determine who and what we are and what we get in this society, maybe not so fast. And in light of this subprime mortgage scandal, and then in light of the fact that we got a $700 billion bailout for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, Jimmy Mac can't get no love. Average brother and sister out here trying to make their way, white or black or brown or red or yellow, can't even get the government to help them out. We could use some good fiscal conservatives like Bill Cohen to clean that mess up, but at the same time, we tell poor people who are vulnerable, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and yet multi-billion-dollar corporations making more than trillion-dollar mistakes are receiving the public largesse. We have socialism for the gifted, and we have self-help and capitalism for the poor.